The Dunkin' Dunk of the week. Monday in Brooklyn. Final seconds ticking away, and Alec Burks sizes up the nets, gets to the rim, and the two-handed flush. Third game in a Cavs uniform announcing his presence, Alec Burks, and that's a winner, our Dunkin' Dunk of the week. Well, not far from the Q in downtown Cleveland, located in the Pro Football Hall of Fame city, the Canton Charge, the G League affiliate. News including the signing of two-way contract players Jalen Jones and Jerem Blossomgame. Jones got some run Monday in Brooklyn, a 6'7 guard who split time between Dallas and New Orleans, and Blossomgame's a 6'7 forward out of Clemson, former first-round pick of the Spurs. Now remember, two-way players can spend up to 45 days with the Cavs with a possible roster move overall. It's wide open given the fact that this roster could be in constant flux. And Mike, when I think of the G League, I think about the fact that it's intriguing in that you have these sort of unpolished gems down there, and the idea is to find out who really can make that big jump forward. I know you were bird dogging down in Canton, talked to the players and the head coach.
I had a chance to visit with Nate Reinking, the head coach of the Canton Charge, who has some Ohio connections. He went to Gallien High School, attended Kent State, and then right after that went over to Europe, spent some time in Great Britain. Let's hear from the coach.
Right after my career at Kent, I took a job overseas in England, ended up playing over there for 15 to 16 years, bounced around in Europe, Turkey, Belgium, most of my career in England, and then retired after the 2012 Olympics. Came back to Ohio to relax with family for a year, and then Mike Gansey gave me my first shot with the Canton Charge.
Now, when I first met you today, I said, that's a familiar face to me. I had to go back to Euro Championships when you were the assistant with the Great Britain's team.
Yes.
And I was coaching the Ukraine at that time.
Yes.
We wound up playing each other to try and qualify for the World Championships.
Yes.
What did you think of the coaching experience over in Great Britain?
That was my first coaching gig, and my opportunity there was given to Joe Prunty, who's an NBA veteran coach for, I think, about 20 years right now. So he opened my eyes, gave me my first shot, and really mentored me, and still is my mentor today. Stay in touch with him and ask him a lot of questions, and he really groomed me for my first job.
I know Joe thought that the referees called a lot of fouls against you guys. He was very upset with that at the end of the game.
It was. We were trying to get that upset.
So now you come to Canton, you're the head coach of the team. What's the mission for you here with these young players?
The mission, first and foremost, is just support the Cavs in whatever they do, whatever they need. If they need players to get time down here, we give that to them. And then we're trying to develop the same culture they are in Cleveland, and develop our guys and teach them the way Cleveland does in case they need players from here to go up. And the biggest, that's the main purpose. The second purpose is just to develop these guys to get their next job. If it is the NBA, if it's Europe, we're trying to teach them how to be a pro day in and day out, and do the consistent habits to become the best player they can and showcase themselves on a nightly basis. Because I tell them every night's an interview in this league. We got people watching every night, and we're trying to get them to the level they want to get to.
Would I be fair in saying the G League is the farm system for the NBA?
Yes.
All right, so G League used to be D League at one time,
Yes.
and then new sponsorship comes in, there's a change. Do you get orders from up above that this is what we want you to run, or this is what we want you to do with these youngsters?
It is kind of a unwritten rule. Learning under the first head coach I worked for here, Steve Hetzel, and then Jordi Fernandez. They're both in the NBA now, with Orlando and Denver. They taught me the ropes, the NBA ropes, especially in the G League, and it was kind of an unwritten rule. You're putting in the same sets, same philosophies defensively that Cleveland does. For that reason of guys going up and down, they want to feel comfortable and make the transition easy for them.
It makes so much more sense nowadays with how the rules have been structured, with what you do versus years back. Because in the old days, I'll call it, you'd sign a guy to a 10-day contract. He had no idea what you were running. He'd just come in, you'd bring him in and hope he could remember a couple plays. As a head coach, you were hesitant to use the guy because he didn't know your defense.
Yes.
He didn't know your offensive sets. But now with, 27 out of the 30 teams in the NBA have G League teams. Now you can run the same stuff. You can have the same defensive philosophy And I think it gives these youngsters a much better chance of making it with the NBA teams, and it gives you, as the head coach of an NBA team, if you need help because of injuries, you can get a guy that knows what you're doing.
Yes. That's what I say. It's the perfect situation for these guys. We're teaching them the NBA ropes. As a coach, you're trying to put your own little wrinkles in here and there, but overall, the philosophies are going to be the same as the big club, and it makes that transition easy. And over the course, if you watch NBA teams, it's the same plays, same sets a little bit, just maybe certain terminology is different. So these guys are really, really prepared for when they get that call up.
So interesting, Mike, your association with Coach Reinking, given the world scope of basketball here. And tell us a little bit more, just spending time with him, what he's about.
This is a wonderful young man. You talk about a team player. All he could talk about is whatever the Cavs want. Whatever they tell me to do, I'm willing to do it. And he's so happy to be involved with the organization. And this guy has had a long journey. This isn't like I'm just coming out of college and bang, I landed a job. He spent 13 years in many, many countries playing and then winding up as an assistant coach along the way. So it was really a pleasure to sit down with him.
It's interesting to watch him on the floor as a teacher with those players on the court. And look, if you want to catch the charge, and you should, here you go. Look at the home games through the holiday season. Remember, Fun Hoops, where you find them. And you can find them at the Canton Memorial Civic Center. So take a ride and put a little charge in your life.
I'm going to go on the 15th at Greensboro. I think that's my guy, Joe Wolf, may be the head coach there.
You know everyone.
I want to go see Greensboro swarm against the Canton Charge.
You have worked with everyone. Quickly, Mike, your advice to someone in the G League playing there, and you really have this dream to play in the big leagues.
I would just like to tell them how fortunate they are. The NBA has invested all of this money. If you listen, 27 out of the 30 NBA teams have their own G League team. That's terrific. We never had that years ago. You have a chance to practice with the big guys, to play with the big guys. You get the two-way contract, and then you have a chance to make the big money, baby.
That's a sweet deal for sure. All right, coming up on Cavs in the Paint, one final step, Paint or Ain't, the Claw in Toronto, and a coach who left Canada for the short trip to the Motor City.